I think a big congratulations is in order for the one and only Miles Minnick. You know what I'm saying? The first ever Christian hip hop XXL Freshman. Big shouts out to Miles Minnick, man. I had a chance to meet and speak with Miles Minnick, man. He's one of the ones that we wanted to show love to straight out the gate whenever we saw what he was doing. But, you know, Coachella had mentioned his name. Bro, it wasn't nothing that was going to stop him from bubbling. For real. There was nothing that was going to stop him from bubbling. His name continued to get bigger. His movement continued to get bigger. And I think that this really proves.
He's getting radio push.
Yeah, bro. You talking about all kinds of big
LA all over Cali. I saw him spilling over in the podcast that I never even thought would even like mention Miles Minnick. You talking about street hood podcast, gang members, gang bangers.
Yeah.
This man is touching crazy. Like he's touching so many different demographics. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. I think that this is insane. Chris, what does this mean for Christian hip hop? First and foremost, speak to Miles Minnick himself, because this is a celebration. I know what he's going to do as well as he should. You know, this is a win for the kingdom. This is a win for Christian hip hop. He's nominated for Best New Artist right now as well. I got to check to see if he won. And the fact that he made XXL Freshman, he might actually win. But what does this mean for Christian hip hop? I honestly look at this and feel like this is I feel the exact same way when Lecrae popped up on the BET Cipher.
Yeah. No, this is huge. It lets me know that people are recognizing what's real and people want something that's real. Like, and I think that when you think about Miles Minnick, you know, the type of artist that he is, true to himself, he's going, and then sonically the music is good. And Miles Minnick has been doing this for years, and people are just now starting to he's starting to get that mainstream exposure now, but he's been grinding for years. And he's elevated himself. He was good back then. I feel like he's incredible now. But he's true to himself. You know what a Miles Minnick track sounds like, and he's gonna get that to you. And it's gonna be a Miles Minnick fashion, and it's gonna be dope. He rarely has misses. And he's gonna always pop out with a banger. So that's who Miles Minnick is. And let's not get started on the freestyles that he's been doing, and like you said, the podcast Day and the shows that he's been going on, and you know, the places that I've been seeing him. I've been like, man, it seemed like every other day you've been seeing Miles Minnick pop up somewhere, and it's been incredible to see. Talented artist, bro, humble dude, good dude, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy about this accomplishment for him, and it's a big thing for Christian hip hop in general. Like, you know, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he said he won by a landslide in terms of votes.
They said it wasn't even close. Yeah, they said it wasn't even
close. So that's not only a sign of how incredible Miles Minnick is and how loyal and how heavy his fan base is, but that's also a sign of how incredible God is, man. To be able to be the first Christian hip hop artist to be on something like this is dope. And yeah, I can't say no more about how incredible this moment is for him. And I think that this is just a start, bro. He got so much more to do, so many more places to go.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, and I feel like I just feel like this adds to it, and this is more of a stamp, you know what I'm saying, to keep him going.
I mean, people can say all they want to, that they don't want to be recognized by the world. And, you know, the conversation around this, he's still got the people in his comments saying that this isn't godly. And why would you want to be by the, with the world? A lot of people are saying, you know, I'll never champion this, or I'll never condone this. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is why is this something we want? And my thing is this, bro, we're all on a different journey. At the end of the day, we all got the same goal in mind. We all got the same destination, but we're all on a different journey. And Miles Minnick's, this is clearly Miles Minnick's lane to run in. The crazy part about it, I mean, you know, there are plenty of other rappers who could have been in this situation if they wasn't hating so much, or, without looking at this as it being a competition, more like this is really what we want to do. But it looks like that the community of Christian hip hop really stood in a way and celebrated this. But I hate the fact that people are still trying to find a way to say that this is not of God. Why are these people miserable? What is this, Day?
Man, anything that is even concurring with so-called mixing in with the world is always going to be looked at as a sin. If you're not leading others to Christ visibly in the eyes of the saints, then it's always going to be like, shame, shame. What are you even doing? You ain't doing nothing but letting the evil spirits rub off on you. You're supposed to be holding hands and ministering and praying and invite them to church. And Miles Minnick actually does, again, on these podcasts that I've watched. I've seen him minister and, hey, come to service. What you doing Sunday? Bring the family. My pastor is this. My pastor's cool, because he's not even like a pastor or anything. So he's not in that position where you would think he's inclined, because in 2026, like, we living in a different era of Christian. Like, we're not living in that era where people will be like, hey, come to my church. People are more so just like, hey, I am a Christian rapper. That's me. You don't have to support it. You don't have to buy a CD, but this is just what it is. And I want to let the world know that we make dope records too. I mean, if anything, that's still the argument versus just, oh, I'm going to come minister to y'all on y'all's platform and y'all invite me on to sit down and interview. Like, we're not living in that era anymore. Let's be real. So if you get the opportunity to be able to broadcast the gospel, then you're going to take it however people receive it. You're not going to force it on nobody and feel like, I'm called here to be that type of Christian that's witnessing and, evangelizing and stuff and things of that nature. So, I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah, I just hate that, you would think a lot of these artists, as many times as we've seen these artists on Sway, as many times as we've seen these artists be invited to BET, as many times as we've seen these artists be on podcasts that have nothing to do with them. I mean, if anybody is worried about anybody, I mean, people should go and look at D1 and really watch the way that he's moving in these spaces. D1 has not once changed up, no matter who is in front of, whether it's Fat Joe, whether it's Joe Budden, whether it's Big Bank. Like, no matter who he has stood face to face with, his war on hip hop, if that's what you want to call it, has remained the same. And he's never, just because he's been placed in these situations or because he's had these big moments, I have never once seen D1 switch it up to make it cool to be where he is. And the same goes, Dave, with kind of what you're saying with Miles Minnick. This guy has literally been the realest, no matter where he's been. I mean, he's at the BET Awards talking about, hey, we about to hit the red carpet right through those doors. And, the red stand for the blood of Christ. Like that kind of, like, he's real. What God has done for him is so real that he does not care the heights that he climbs. And I hate people that's going to take this and be like, look at what he's doing. And Lecrae could have did, man. Like, leave all of that alone. Like, the eras are different and the methods have to be different, bro. Because of what Lecrae has done is the reason why Miles Minnick can be as bold as he can and still get these opportunities, bro. It's a resurgence and a blow up in Christian hip hop in this moment where, and 2020 was a lot of the reason why, because people had no reason but to sit around and scroll, and Christian hip hop really blew up. The thing is that's never lost its power is the fact that the United States of America is, for all intents and purposes, a Christian nation, right? And so with it being one of the biggest religions, right, in the nation, then at that point, people are always going to be in some form attached to their faith, whether it was from when they were growing up, whether it was from, a new journey that they got on, or whatever the case is. And when you start going to these different churches, how are they saying, hey, we're cool too? They're playing Christian hip hop. They're playing Forrest Frank. They're playing Lecrae. They're playing Andy Mineo. They're playing Miles Minnick. And so these people that only went to church once or twice, or maybe a friend invited them, they are now getting this opening to these things. And when you're just scrolling and your feed says, oh, they like one Christian post, maybe they like this post, and you have big people rapping over these challenges. And Jenny McCarthy's husband, I can't think of his name right now, but it was a real big, I think he rapped with the Beastie Boys, and he was, or New Kids on the Block, something like that, and he rapped on a Forrest Frank record. when you start seeing things like this, bro, it changes the game. And so since a lot of people, you know, still, man, they could do the craziest stuff. Mo3, one of my favorite artists, you know, was out killing niggas. But his faith was very strong throughout his music. So when you look at a lot
man, my aunt be bumping Mo3 like he Kirk Franklin.
Bro, so this is what I'm saying, though.
Man,
like,
you ain't lying.
This is what I'm saying. But if you listen to Mo3's music, his faith was riddled, and the struggle behind his faith was riddled in his music. Do I serve the streets or do I serve? You know what I'm saying? And obviously, you can go through doctrine and all of that, but ain't nobody trying to do that. I'm just trying to make a point that everybody is trying to find that faith and that safe haven. If you can make that music and it still be a banger, bro, that's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot. I get to escape what I'm really listening to or what I'm drawn to and still get these bops and still can pull up to the bar or pull up to the club bumping Miles, pull up to the gas station bumping Miles, and nobody cared. I think Bun B was one of the ones that said what put me on Lecrae was the fact that I could pull up to the car wash with my windows down blasting his music and people start asking me who it is.
Let it whip.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So to your point, Chris, I think you're right. I think a lot of people are searching for the real and they want the authenticity and in whatever form that may be. So big shouts out to Miles Minnick, man, to see how far he's grown, to see how far this is going. Dude is constantly selling out his concerts. And I knew that once Coachella made him change his name, I knew that he was getting too big. I knew at that moment that it was only a matter of time. And I can't wait to actually catch his freestyle. What we think? What we think? Is he really about to bring it to this XXL freestyle?
He gonna murder that.
You know, he gonna go crazy.
I feel like he gonna switch it up 3-4 flows.
Bro, he like this ain't nothing new to him, bro. Hopping on a freestyle,
bro. I like bro. He does not care who he's around or what company he is in, bro. The swag he continues to bring, bro. The drip, the aura that he has, bro, is something that it's only a few people in this space got, bro, and he definitely has it, man. It's something crazy to see for real. And this is a height that Christian hip hop hasn't reached. I mean, you could say Crae, you know, and being on the Cipher, that was the door opening, right? But we talking about a XXL Freshman Day. We was talking about this in the group chat. You were saying something around the lines of the 10th spot actually damn near mean more than being voted on to the first 9?
It does. It means a lot more because it's like winning the first spot. You know, the voters are ultimately the catalyst in this whole idea of the XXL Freshman cover because we get the so-called vote on who is the most popular rapper, who is the up-and-coming guy, who's crossing over from underground to mainstream in our eyes. So if the fans are the ones that decide overall who joins, and then he's like basically first place in votes. If you get 10 spot, that means you're the most unanimous, hands down requested like artist, like out of everybody. So, and they put over 100. They put hundreds and hundreds of artists on this list. Like I've actually personally voted for XXL submissions before. So they put hundreds. You have to scroll on that website for a long time to find the artists that you want to find to vote them in. So if you got all these people vote you into 10 spot, that means people really were favoring you and pulling for you.
But one of the things that he did, you know, he's just always had a big following and his fans or his audience, whatever you want to call it, his family, they truly believe in what he does and they truly believe in his mission. And that's, you know, people used to get mad at Christian hip hop for people not co-signing them. But people like a Miles Minnick, a Caleb Gordon, and a Mike Teezy, I love putting them all in the same category just because obviously they're different, but just because they're a part of that 2020 rap era. They went, built their own table, and ultimately got to where they are. They didn't depend on cosigns. They didn't depend on people liking them and following them. They built their own, you know, like Cinderella said, in my own little corner, in my own little chair. Like, you know what I'm saying? They truly built in there, but we're talking about, you know, he is up here with people like Skrilla, which Trap Dicky, you know what I'm saying? And I know Skrilla had a big couple years.
And Trap Dicky just signed a TDE.
Yeah, so So we
And
talking
then
about
Lil Yachty was the 10th spot. He's basically DDG. DDG is the biggest recent name out of all these names. Like if you look at him,
but you know, with DDG, he's more on his podcast tip, right?
yeah,
I mean,
he
he
is social
came back
media.
to rapping. He's came back to rapping, but
I feel like that's more of a thing that we should praise, because if Miles Minnick was to use the same technique to get everybody on social media on his side to go get those votes, then that just speaks to the influence that you have, not just in real life, but on social media as well. It's not like people on social media is like, who is this guy? Who? Miles who? Nah, everybody like Miles Minnick. So if that means he was voted so heavily, that means if he wasn't to make it, people would have been in the comments like, no Miles Minnick, with a whole bunch of question marks. Because that's why everybody really at this point, to be real, the only reason people really look at the XXL Freshman cover now is to say, no such and such, no such and such, no this person, no that person. They're not really praising the people or looking into the people that actually made the list at this point in time.
Nah, man, I think that's huge. Like you said, I remember going to go vote for Miles for that 10th spot, and I had to scroll so far to find Miles Minnick. And I was just thinking, I was like, man, this is gonna be, you're gonna have some fans going into scroll fatigue. Man. You know what I'm saying? To actually try to get in there and vote. But I think that the community came through. You know, forget all the people that's talking negative. That's what they're gonna be. You always gonna have people that have a bit more, for lack of a better term, standard to what they do. I don't really want to call it a standard because I think it's ridiculous. But just to get my point across, you have people that have you know, that in their system, so nothing you do will ever be right. Unless you know, never mind. Nothing you ever do is going to be right. So, you know, it's just kind of one of those things, man.